Hi everybody, this week we are going to be taking a much closer look at the concepts of privilege and oppression. More specifically, we're going to be trying to develop a deeper understanding about how privilege and oppression operate systematically in society. So again, remember sociology, we're studying patterns of human behavior. In the context of social problems, we're always going to be more interested at looking at how these problems are affecting us from a societal or a structural perspective, rather than so much at the individual level. Of course, as human beings, as social agents, we need to understand how individuals experience privilege and oppression individualistically, but from a societal or sociological perspective, we're much more interested at looking at these problems from a structural perspective. So we need to understand how concepts like privilege and oppression affect humans at the group level, and we're going to have a discussion this week understanding how different identities, different aspects of our identity may afford us privilege, while other aspects of our identity may afford us oppression. We may experience marginalization or stigma or discrimination because of certain aspects of our identity. So that's what we're going to be unpacking this week. So just to quickly introduce you to the content for this week, we go into our Blackboard course website in the course content folder for week 3. Which is where we're at now. You'll see first thing, our to-do list. You'll see the first thing on your to-do list this week is a little exercise called How Privileged Are You? Basically, if you click this link, it's going to take you to a checklist with 100 different behaviors or practices that you may or may not have experienced if you have a certain aspect of privilege in connection to your identity. So the first thing I'd like you to do this week is to read through that checklist, keep track of any privileges that you may have experienced in your lived experience. And then I just include a few questions for you to reflect on, kind of again, one of these opening activities just to get you in the mind space about what the content is we're going to be covering this week. Then I have a couple of just short readings on privilege, a very, very popular reading here called Unpacking the Invisible Knapsack that's written by an individual by the name of Peggy McIntosh. Maybe you've read this piece before. It's a very popular piece in understanding what privilege is and how it operates in our society. I've also included a brief video. It's a TED Talk that the same individual, Peggy McIntosh, provides. So I think these two pieces go pretty well together. Also, I'm including a reading in here that provides more in-depth definitions and descriptions about what the terms privilege and oppression mean, how they operate with one another. And then the other thing I'm asking you to view this week is this video about an exercise that's kind of been referred to as the brown eyes, blue eyes exercise. Maybe you've heard this before. It's an exercise conducted by an educator by the name of Jane Elliott to try and help students understand how privilege and oppression operate in society today. So then, of course, I have a couple of brief lecture videos here where I kind of summarize the content for this week, and the slides that I cover in those video lectures are provided as well. Like every week, your assignment this week is just to write your educated opinion post by Thursday, your comments by Saturday of this week. And again, we're still kind of laying the foundation for the social problems course. Starting next week, we're going to be taking a closer look at different social problems that are affecting our society. So this is kind of the last week of foundational material, getting familiarized with these important terms and concepts that we're going to be working with. So I hope you enjoy this content this week. As in previous weeks, it might be a little uncomfortable at times. It's difficult for us to reflect on privilege and how we experience it. Sometimes we get a little defensive in trying to defend privileges that we have, saying that maybe we were born into aspects of our identity, that we didn't ask to be privileged in certain ways. But as the content this week really helps us to understand, we need to understand where our privileges come from and how we benefit from them if we want to address the social problems that our privileges feed into. So I hope you enjoy this week's content. I've really enjoyed reading your discussion posts so far. I think everyone's doing a great job leaning into this discomfort and really working to build your sociological imagination. So keep up the good work, and I hope you enjoy the content this week.